Yo, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Snoop Dogg. Before we get into today's episode, I wanted to shout out Arctic Circle's new Instagram handle at Arctic Circle Podcast. Make sure to give them a follow to catch glimpses of upcoming episodes and stay updated with what's going on in the lives of the Icemen. Peace, y'all.
Welcome everyone to episode 3 of the Arctic Circle podcast.
Let's fucking go.
My name is Colin. I will be leading the episode today. So at the time of recording this, we released episode 2 earlier today. So can't speak too much on reception, but I'd say from who we've heard from, it's been good.
I agree.
I personally think it was a large improvement over episode 1, and that's kind of our goal with every episode, as we said at the beginning. We want to get better every episode and leave each episode with it being our best one yet. So let's hope to continue that today. So regarding topics, we spoke a lot over these past few days about what we wanted to discuss, and we all kind of agreed with this podcast. We don't want to really box ourselves in when it came to topics we discuss.
Yeah.
In last episode, we sort of covered pop culture. So we figured it would be interesting to maybe do something, more morality related, and something that could spark a bit of debate or some interesting discussions, civil discussions. So then we had some trouble, finding a topic that we could debate that was offensive or political. When you really think about it, it's very hard, or not related to pop culture, because we wanted to do something unique.
We didn't want to do any topic that would leave people severely offended at the end of the day.
And so, as you can expect, we had a lot of trouble coming up with a topic, but I think we did a good job at brainstorming and kind of narrowing down our options for sure.
Yeah, did you introduce the topic?
Not yet.
Okay, this topic is definitely something that can create conversation without upsetting too many people.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so today we are going to discuss the death penalty. I am joined here today. My name is Colin. I am joined here today with my other hosts, Josh.
What's up, guys?
And Alex.
Schlatt.
So I guess to start off, we're going to give a little bit of a history and a bit of our knowledge on the topic, and then we'll sort of go around and discuss our own thoughts on the topic. So you guys want to maybe discuss what you know about the death penalty and keep some
start out with the history.
I can just start talking about stuff.
Yeah.
So as you guys know, we are just 3 dumb college kids, so we don't know everything about everything, but we did our best at researching beforehand just to get acclimated to the subject matter, just so we didn't look like fools as we pressed record today. So,
yeah.
Alex, you want to start off with a little history, and I can.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start off with the death penalty going back to colonial times. I know the death penalty has been used throughout a long period of history, but we're gonna start at the colonial times. It became very widespread during the Middle Ages, especially in Europe during the 18th century. It was used as a punishment for a wide range of crimes. It was done in a different fashion than today. Obviously, we have a lot.
Yeah, dude, people are not getting hung.
We have a lot more high tech.
People are not getting beheaded or hung.
Yeah, there's a lot more high tech ways of euthanizing
or publicly
somebody.
shamed.
Yeah, but back in the old days, even if you think back to the witch trials, you could be simply called a witch. The Salem witch trials, you could be just simply called a witch and be forced off to a death penalty where they have to hang you in the gallows.
It is
definitely is not a pleasant way to go, and they do it publicly. They used to do it publicly too, as a way to deter anyone else from committing similar crimes.
I will say, as a similar trend in history, it's weird to look back at the death penalty, because back then people just kind of took it as a normal thing that went on in their lives, and now there is this very big debate on whether it should be allowed. I think currently we have 27 states that allow the death penalty. They allow capital punishment, which is, honestly more than I thought.
Yeah.
Before learning.
Even outside the U.S., the United Nations and the WHO, the World Health Organization.
The WHO. I love the WHO, bro.
That's what they called it back in Model when I did Model UN.
I call it the WHO. I call it the WHO right now.
It is the WHO. But they called for a moratorium, which is a prohibition of the death penalty for a certain period of time, mainly to actually settle something and like get a concrete idea about the death penalty, not only nationally for U.S., but that's more government focus based, and the United Nations are looking at it internationally because it is still used throughout the globe in many different countries. There are countries that have outright banned it. I don't have a list with me right now, but there are countries that have outright banned it, and then there's also, like Josh was saying, like countries like the U.S. that still have, well, in our case, the 27 states that still allow the death penalty.
Yeah, so I recently, this has become more of a topic in the 19th and 20th centuries. Just back in the 70s and up till now, there's been a lot more heat surrounding the topic. In 1972, the Supreme Court ruled in Furman v. Georgia that the death penalty was unconstitutional, and this led to a temporary suspension of the death penalty. And I mean, now states are given the opportunity to revise this death penalty status, and some are choosing to allow it, some are choosing not to, and we are going to get into our thoughts right about now, if you guys are cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
That works for me. I think that was
a segue.
I was gonna say is a solid introduction.
Awesome, man. We're all so new to this. We say that every podcast. We're really just three dudes just preaching to the choir.
Three dudes full of banter.
Full of
great banter.
Witty banter.
Three lads.
Love that meme. That meme is
three jails.
That meme is unrivaled. That meme is unrivaled.
Witty banter. Well, do you wanna give us your opinion first, Colin?
Sure.
You're leading today.
This was a topic that I discussed in my my government class. I remember in sophomore year of high school, and that was something that was really the first time I sort of began to really think about it and put some thought into it. I think personally I'm against it. I'm not a fan of the death penalty for a multitude of reasons.
Interesting.
For me, Josh and I spoke briefly about it earlier today.
We did.
And I told him earlier, I feel like, it's considered, the worst punishment someone could be given. But I feel like if you're going to punish someone for doing something truly awful, killing them is essentially putting them out of their misery. And I feel like a worse punishment would be for them to rot in jail until they die of old age.
That is, that is an interesting take. I can see your side, and I fully respect it. But at the end of the day, I have a very strong belief about this. I think there are certain individuals, namely mass murderers, serial killers, that I think they should just be given the death penalty. I think they don't deserve to have the opportunity to reform themselves in prison. I don't think they should be able to.
Well, to be clear, if they were to be in prison, they would never get out. There would be no chance of them.
Oh no, it would be a life sentence, but at the same time, they'd be able to just ponder what they did, think about what they did that's wrong, if they even have that mindset. I just think they don't deserve to just be around anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I understand that.
For me, the death penalty is, I think it should be a choice from the person that receives the death penalty. Either you receive life in like a maximum security prison where you are imprisoned there for your whole life, and yes, you get to go on living, but you're not gonna see much else besides that prison for the rest of your life. Or I think you could have the idea of like you taking in your own hands and like allowing the government or the state to euthanize you because you don't want to spend your whole life in jail.
Yeah.
I think it could be a choice on the criminal. I'd say if it's a serious crime, something beyond even more than mass murder. I don't know what it would be. Maybe
Genocide.
treason,
Genocide.
genocide. I mean, any extreme.
I'm on the extreme side of things. Like if it's something that extreme,
Yeah.
then I think they deserve it.
Yeah, if they do something so extreme that the penalty is instant death, then I think that's outright deserved. But
Yeah.
a lot of people go away for life for things that don't even involve homicide. Like drug related incidents can be lifetime sentences. Granted, those
That's
are
true.
usually immense amounts of
Yeah.
drugs. It's usually a drug dealer, but
An
I don't think that's
ungodly
something.
amount.
I think
Yeah.
that's something that has time for reformation.
Oh, absolutely.
Homicidal
Absolutely.
people, on the other hand, is a bit harder. But
It's sort of a case-by-case basis.
yeah, I completely agree.
You know, something like manslaughter is very different than
So
mass
what do
murder.
you feel about there is an ongoing belief, or I guess claim, that has come up in terms of morality. Basically, people think that death penalty is very cruel and inhumane, and that is kind of one of the ideas that spurted out of the past couple of centuries with people getting publicly executed.
Mhm.
How do you feel about that claim, saying that it's inhumane and it shouldn't be done just on the basis of treating people like humans?
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
I think you kind of lose that right when you commit a crime worthy of capital punishment. Personally,
But that's not to take away from your claim that your belief that there shouldn't be a death penalty.
right. And I was actually gonna say, after kind of listening to what Alex said, I think one solution could be to maybe if someone's committed a crime worthy of that penalty, usually that means that someone else or maybe someone else's families have been wronged in some way, and I think maybe you give them the decision. Maybe if someone was murdered, you give the family of the murdered person the ability to decide what they think this person deserves.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I don't think the death penalty is. I mean, it can be. I understand that it can be considered inhumane, and I think it is. But like I said, I think you lose that right. And the reason I'm against the death penalty, like I said, is more that I think there's worse punishments
Mhm.
Yeah.
than that.
I think the death penalty is inhumane.
Yeah.
I would say I would kind of disagree with your point about the families.
Yeah.
I don't think the family should be given the choice. At that point, that's the family spiting the murderer or whatever their crime may be in this case. But I'm just going to go with murder.
Absolutely not.
That's the family spiting that criminal. And most times, it's probably going to be an emotion-based decision where they will probably go and kill the criminal, and then that causes way more. How do I say it?
Backlash.
Yeah, there's more backlash. There's also there's more strings attached. Like instead of the family not being involved in the criminal's punishment, now it's solely in their hands. They get to do whatever they want. I think it should, like I said, in my opinion, if they are going to go away for life, they should have the idea. They should have the choice to be able to end their own lives if they want to, so that they don't have to spend their life in jail. I don't think it should be in the family's hands.
I don't think
See,
they should be.
You think even people that have done truly awful things
No.
get to have the decision?
They
of
absolutely
how to put
lose
themselves
that right.
out of their misery.
They absolutely
You don't
lose
think
that
they
right.
I mean,
deserve-
it's either put themselves out of their misery or just go spend their lifetime in jail. There's
But then I feel like
There-
that takes away from the punishment of
There-
what they've done.
but ending your life is basically the biggest punishment you can get, because then you don't go on living. You don't have any more experiences to create. You don't have any more time left on this planet. You're just not around.
All right, as sort of a
I don't want to go like too religious, but I
No,
don't
yeah.
believe in an afterlife, so I think their life is just done as soon as.
Hey, religion podcast is coming later. Believe us.
We'll be back with the religion
But as
topic.
sort of a segue, kind of branching out of the cruel and inhumane philosophy of it, I mean, you look at these serial killers. You look at, like, say, Dahmer, for example.
Mhm.
As soon as the press got a hold of the whole killing 17 and mutilating and killing 17 men and boys, almost everyone in Milwaukee wanted Dahmer just dead. They wanted him killed.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, how do you can't really back the not being cruel and inhumane death penalty when everyone in the state of Wisconsin wants the cruel and inhumane method.
Well, that's again what I was saying,
punishment.
is that's like the same thing as the families deciding if the death penalty should happen, because that in that moment that is solely emotion based. Yes, there's like backing to there's strength to their words.
It's rightfully emotion based.
Yeah.
There's 17 families that are impacted.
Yeah.
Maybe
But
I mean that's ridiculous.
when you're
It's
looking at just the cruel and inhumane part, that is just purely factual and logical as to whether or not it's cruel and inhumane. Don't get me wrong; it's still a subjective topic, but it shouldn't take into account how people are feeling in that moment.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like I said, I do think it is cruel and inhumane. I just think that, like I said, usually if someone that's being considered, the person that committed the crime has done something cruel and inhumane, and in many cases worse, multiple cruel and inhumane things.
Mm-hmm. I will say one thing about the death penalty. I think what's bad about the death penalty, like, criminals cannot choose if they want to go. They spend usually like a year to 2 years in maximum security prison just waiting to go on trial and see if they're actually going to be convicted of their death penalty. So they spend 2 years not knowing what their outcome is going to be. They have to go through all these legal procedures.
I mean, yeah, dude.
Just to be sentenced to the death penalty.
Our criminal justice system has not been the greatest. It's a long and strenuous process that, I mean, yeah, they spend a while in jail before they actually even go to trial.
Yeah, so they already have a lot of time when they're soaking up misery. I feel like it should be in their own hands whether or not they want to die in that moment or just kind of rot in jail.
I guess, but
No.
if you do something so awful, I don't think you should get that right. I feel like you murder a bunch of people. Why should you get to choose? You took all of those people's lives from them. I don't think you should get to decide
So
how you
we're
die.
just talking about murder. Is that the only
That's just
cause?
what people go to. I mean,
Yeah,
I've been looking at this page about capital punishment. A lot of these are some of the things that have been considered capital offenses. You've got murder, mass murder, aggravated cases of rape, often including child sexual abuse, terrorism, aircraft hijacking, war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide.
Mm-hmm.
And then it also says, along with crimes against the state, such as attempting to overthrow government, treason, espionage, sedition, and piracy. I mean, that's a bit of a jump.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if you
No
deserve
way.
to die for piracy.
No
Well,
way.
I think when they mean piracy there, they mean like stealing government information and leaking it.
Even then,
Yeah,
And
I
this
don't
specific
think you
specific
I don't think you
link
should die
actually
for either.
goes to an act of robbery or criminal violence by ship. So it means like literal pirates.
Okay,
I
so
mean, this
maybe
could be from back in
Yeah.
many years ago, like 1700s.
Well, I mean, pirates are
but-
still a thing.
No, they are. That's true, actually.
Yeah.
Like
But
Somali pirates.
the thing about pirates is usually they're on international waters where it doesn't have much legal code.
I'm interested about when you said rape. I mean, that's not a death penalty in the U.S. That's more like, I mean, there's
This
life
is-
imprisonment for rape. Is that just around the world? Because I'm sure.
I will say this is, this is just, I guess, anything that's ever been considered a capital crime.
Right. Okay.
And it doesn't specify the U.S.
Okay. Yeah.
So it could have been, one
Could
case.
be like Singapore or something.
Yeah.
One of the strictest countries.
Yeah. No chewing gum.
Yeah, I mean,
You
I
can
will
chew
say-
gum,
You
then
can't
you
chew
go.
gum in Singapore.
You spend the rest of the day in jail. You
You're
chew
dead.
gum.
No, you're dead.
I will say,
death penalty.
I have been going into this discussion, and like the mindset I've been in has been more than anything from like a moral and like I guess sort of a philosophical standpoint rather than like a more realistic one. Just like when you consider like the current state of like our prison system and like how prisons are kind of being overflowed right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things that go into a decision like that.
That is another.
And then you get into situations that happen with like someone being wrongfully convicted of a crime and they get sent to to die. So, there's so many situations where you kind of have to look at it on a case-by-case basis, which does, even I feel like I may have even contradicted myself in the past, 30 minutes just because it's a very...
I'm sure we all
it's
have.
It's a
probably.
very layered and complicated topic, and it's, it's tough to really land on a specific, law or, way of going about it.
It's definitely hard to gauge when you're working from a scale that goes from piracy to genocide.
That's very
in
true
terms
as well.
of capital punishment.
I was really wanting to focus on the U.S. more than.
Yeah.
I'm sure some of those were not related to the U.S.
I'm looking at this page down here. It talked about, executions by country in 20... I don't know if this is all time or 2021, but Iran has 353 executions.
Holy shit.
And just to compare, the U.S. has 11.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure there's definitely religion that plays a factor
Oh,
in that as
yeah.
well.
Iran's at 353, and then the next is Egypt at 82. That's over 4 times.
One interesting thing to note is that some people use financial reasons as one of their sort of the reasons behind the death penalty argument. They argue that the death penalty is more expensive than life imprisonment because there's a lengthy appeal process that costs a lot of money, and there's going to be a need for special facilities to house death row inmates. So there is another financial side of that.
How can that be cheaper than lifetime in prison, though?
You could definitely look at it from that standpoint.
And those are all taxpayer dollars.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That is why, like I said, I was, my perspective was more from a moral standpoint rather than, I guess, a more grounded standpoint when you consider all of the factors that go into a decision like that.
I think
morality is still a grounded decision, though.
No, yeah, I just mean thinking realistically about all of the factors that go into a decision like this. I was just looking at it from the moral perspective more than anything else.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot more factors than we think.
I'm
definitely
sure.
a lot more factors than we think that we can't possibly go on to name.
Yeah, it's mainly just our opinions here on it.
Yeah.
We've been going for 23 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, time flies when you're talking about the death penalty.
I know, we gotta talk about the death penalty every day.
Yeah, it seems like everyone's sort of, given their honest thoughts, and, we don't all disagree, but it was very respectful, and
We're not gonna trash talk each other on the on our thoughts on the death penalty after this podcast. Don't worry, guys. It'll be
Colin, what the fuck, man?
we stop recording. Dude, what the fuck was that? What the hell?
Yeah, we'll get some
We're
BTS.
scrapping
BTS,
this
the Arctic
footage.
Circle.
Yeah,
behind
it was just
the
like
scenes.
a guy recording.
We're scrapping this
Sees the
footage.
whole-
Yeah.
This was trash.
As soon as we're off the air, it's just shit talking. This fucking guy has such a stupid opinion.
Sorry, guys, but episode 3 is going to be the last episode of the podcast.
We had to disband after the last one.
We are not talking to each other again.
Hey, but if you guys have any thoughts about the death penalty, feel free to comment down below because we would love to read some of those juicy comments.
I'm interested. Yeah, I'm interested to see who, what other people think, and people disagree with everything that all three of us said.
Even just us three here had all different opinions.
Yeah,
all three of us had
have
different
very
opinions.
different
Yeah.
opinions.
I think that was interesting, and like we said, hopefully no one took offense to anything we said, but like they said at the beginning, we're just college students who have a pretty base level knowledge of all of this, and we were just sort of having a bit of a moral discussion.
Yeah, we wanted to test the waters with sort of a more political talk. I thought this was very, very enjoyable.
Yeah, I think this was fun too. We also just learned more about each other in the process.
That's every podcast, dude. We learn more about each other.
That's what we said we wanted to do.
I think I learned more about you guys during the 20 to 30 minutes we sit here than I do in a week of hanging out with you guys.
Yeah,
that's fair. Yeah, definitely based on the topics we've had, and I'm sure we're only going to learn more as time goes on.
Oh,
yeah.
I can't wait.
We have some other stuff coming in the works soon that you should get excited for.
Oh, yeah.
A week after this one, it'll be a little special episode.
Get ready for this special episode.
Oh, yeah.
We're not going to reveal it.
We're not in the casting booth there.
Oh, we're somewhere else.
That's
we're
all
in
we'll
mystery location.
Special episode.
I did want to
coming your
say
way.
before we ended off, closed off this episode. It is currently the end of April. We're closing on the end of April, and we are starting to ramp up our recording sessions.
Mm-hmm.
So we are recording fully in advance. We expect to release once a week. That is not going to change as of now, and I don't think
Every Sunday.
Yeah, every Sunday is the goal.
Mm-hmm.
So for you daily listeners or weekly listeners, just look out for Sunday. Sunday's gonna be crazy.
Mark it down on your calendar.
But we do want to get this content rolling out every week, and we're gonna be recording a lot of episodes in advance as we approach the summer. 'Cause
Yeah.
we will not all be together this summer, and we wanted to make these podcasts the highest quality that we can, and we feel the highest quality is being in person, being right next to each other on two couches. And we've discussed doing Discord. We may do that if we don't get enough podcasts out there, but that's just something to know about what we're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Also, look forward to other socials being created. If they are created, you can find them in the SoundCloud description.
oh yeah,
We're planning on rolling out an Instagram this week. We'll see where other socials come in, maybe Twitter or TikTok as well. So just check the description. They'll be in there. If they're not, just stay tuned for them.
oh I'm excited.
They're in the works.
I'm excited for our TikTok.
We're gonna blow up on the talk.
Dude, our TikTok's gonna be nuts. Our first video is gonna get like 2 million likes, not views, likes.
Sound of that.
Yeah, we'll be on everyone's For You
I
page.
can't
Just
wait
look
for that
out.
to happen.
Just look out.
It's gonna be great.
As long as you plug the hashtag FYP, we'll be on.
Oh, that's the
someone's.
plan. That's the plan.
We know the tricks and the
Yeah,
hacks.
we know the algorithms.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, I
All
think
right.
this is a good way to bring it to an end.
I agree. You all have been listening to the Arctic Circle. This is the Icemen signing off. Thank you for listening, and stay icy until next time.